As the Delta State campus grieves the loss of one of its professors. More coming up tonight about the suspected shooter and his motives behind yesterday's horrifying shooting. That's coming up tonight on NewsWatch 99. New details tonight about the man who allegedly shot and killed a Delta State history professor in his office yesterday. Authorities now believe he was connected to a second crime earlier that day on the Gulf Coast. Bailey Brasseth tells us more information continues to come in.
It is indeed a tragic moment for this university and for the Delta State family. And we mourn the loss of our colleague, Dr. Ethan Schmidt, an assistant professor of history who has served us so well. And our condolences go out to his family and loved ones and his friends.
That was the president of Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi, whose campus was rocked with tragedy yesterday after suspected shooter Shannon Lamb opened fire on his co-worker Ethan Schmidt. This was just hours after Lamb allegedly killed his girlfriend more than 300 miles away at his home in Goshen, Mississippi. Just last night, Lamb killed himself with a gunshot to the head, leaving behind this suicide note. Terror and mayhem erupted at Delta State University, and students were fearful for their lives.
They was actually scared because they was like, wow, we are in the opening when there's a killer out there, and while we're walking and there's someone out there and we don't know what they look like, who they are.
Last night, Ole Miss students and faculty showed their support for the Delta State University in a candlelight vigil in front of the Lyceum. Campaigners are anxiously awaiting this year's student body elections. Meredith Parker is standing outside the Lyceum where the results are set to be announced in just a few hours. We go with Meredith to the latest results.
I'm here at the steps of the Lyceum, where in just 1 hour, ASB Attorney General Loden Walker will announce the winners of the personality election. Earlier today, I had a chance to catch up with a few of the candidates, and here's what they had to say.
These positions, we think that they're just so confined to this university, but people know your name. Whenever you go do a service event, whenever it's on your resume, to see that someone has committed themselves to the university in such a broad and, a great way, it makes a big difference.
Friend support and then being surrounded by the other candidates who are my friends and who I love, it's just been so awesome and such a humbling experience. It's weird, I was helping someone with a campaign 4 years ago, and now it's our turn. And it's just, the reality's hitting, now we're leaving, but just the whole experience itself, you just can't really put it into one word. You're just so thankful for the support that you have and the love and the spirit that people are bringing. And just asking them for their time and then being here and showing up. It's just been awesome. I'm really, really grateful for them.
Reporting for NewsWatch, I'm Meredith Parker. Back to the studio.
Be sure to follow NewsWatch on Twitter for live election results. Deborah Bryant visited the Veterans Affairs home in Oxford, Mississippi today. Oxford served as one of the many stops on her tour of the VA homes around the state of Mississippi. She visited with the veterans and gave a coin to each person she met. The veterans greeted her with their weekly performance and a gift of flowers and a card. Governor Bryant and Deborah Bryant designed the coins personally to say thank you to the veterans for their contributions and service to the United States. The Oxford Police Department is stepping up its game. With more tools at their disposal, what more can you expect from the beefed-up police department? That's coming up next. But first, let's check in with Abby McIntosh in the Stormwatch Center for our first look at weather. Abby?
Good evening, everybody. Hope it's been a fabulous Tuesday. Currently, it is 80 degrees outside, clear skies, winds out of the east-southeast, 10 miles per hour, 0 chances of precipitation. Looking at our satellite image, we have clouds moving into our area out of the south, but I'll explain coming up in our full forecast why we probably won't see those clouds until the weekend.
Taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. How much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
While you're out partying with your friends this weekend, remember, get a designated driver. Be smart, drive sober, or get pulled over. A message from the Mississippi Office of Highway Safety.
To the city in 2016. Blake Tart, owner and president of NRP Oxford, will be adding a 15,000 square foot shopping center named the Sansing at Oxford Commons. Tart said he is excited for the new shopping center because of the growth of the east side of Oxford and the importance of the Highway 7 corridor. Because of Tart's love for Oxford, he chose to name the shopping center after a professor during his tenure at Ole Miss. The state of Mississippi may need to turn its frown upside down. The website Wallethup has ranked Mississippi as the 4th least happy state in its 2015 list of the most and least happy states in America. Factors such as obesity and safety concerns contributed to Mississippi's low ranking. The study did list some positives in the state. Mississippi's income growth rate was found to be the national average, and the state's volunteerism rate ranked above average. The number of cases of kids ingesting hand sanitizer has nearly quadrupled across the United States in just a few years. The cases range from ages 12 and under. Hand sanitizer now comes in different flavors like grape and strawberry. Beer and wine tend to contain about 5% and 12% alcohol respectively. Hand sanitizer can range from 45% to 95%. That concentration is so high that just a few squirts can cause alcohol poisoning. Some kids reportedly ingest hand sanitizer on purpose to get drunk or as a dare. Mark Zuckerberg says Facebook is working on a dislike button. Facebook has resisted creating a dislike button as a companion to its like button, but is now responding to popular demand from Facebook users who say like does not fit certain status updates. Facebook is also trying to avoid the negative interaction such as voting and downvoting. Facebook also does not want people to be discouraged from sharing or liking freely as they do now on Facebook. Zuckerberg said Facebook is close to unveiling the new dislike button. 37 fraternity members face charges in the hazing death of a pledge. Chan Dung was a Baruch College freshman and died of multiple traumatic injuries following extensive hazing at a Pocono mountain rental house.
Michael Dang was the victim of a hazing incident. Multiple individuals were involved in his death. Dang suffered multiple blows and impacts to his body, including a significant head injury. Michael was forced to wear a 30-pound backpack, blindfolded, and repeatedly assaulted. After suffering significant blunt force trauma to his body, Dang was in significant distress. No prompt medical attention was sought.
5 members of Pi Delta Psi fraternity facing lesser counts were charged this week based on the grand jury recommendations. 5 of the people yet to be formally charged. The fraternity will face third-degree murder charges if prosecutors follow the recommendations. 2 students were killed and others were injured after a school bus crash in Houston. Officials say the bus was bound for Furr High School. There were 4 students on board, including 2 females who did not survive. A 17-year-old girl died at the scene and a 14-year-old girl died at a hospital. The other 2 students and the driver were seriously injured. They were taken to area hospitals and their conditions have not been released. None of the victims have been publicly identified. People preparing for gender reassignment surgery have found a welcoming community at a gym. The Perfect Sidekick in Oakland, California has made a name for itself, catering to the specific needs of the transgender community.
Xavier Morales says his previous life as a woman was not working out.
I had suicidal thoughts. I couldn't picture my future.
But he says his life turned around a few years ago while undergoing gender reassignment surgery, when he discovered the Perfect Sidekick in Oakland, California. The gym, believed to be the first of its kind in the country, was created by a gay former college athlete who says she never felt comfortable working out in mainstream health clubs.
Going to the gym was still an awkward situation for me. Whether that was like in the weight room, you know, like guys were sizing me up. In the locker room, women were like hiding behind their towels, and I'm like, I just want to work out.
Although the gym is open to anyone, it's made a name for itself by catering to the specific needs of the transgender community. Locker rooms are non-gender specific, and trainers go through sensitivity training, including learning about using appropriate pronouns.
To make sure that we're doing everything that we can and that we're being the kick-ass trainers that we can be, not only physically but also mentally and emotionally for the transgender community.
It's not just a gym, it's a community, it's a family. We take care of each other, we look out for each other.
Morales says his workout routine, designed to complement his hormone therapy, has helped him build muscle and appear more masculine, helping him look on the outside how he feels inside.
Physically, I'm exhausted and sore all the time, but I'm happy.
The Perfect Sidekick now has nearly 200 members, and other gyms across the country have now started similar transgender programs to help change bodies and lives. Haven Daily, Associated Press, Oakland, California.
With lows in the 50s this morning, it looks like fall is right around the corner. Abby McIntosh has our extended weather forecast when we return.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
While you're out partying with your friends this weekend, remember, get a designated driver. Be smart, drive sober, or get pulled over. A message from the Mississippi Office of Highway Safety.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back, everybody. Looking at our current temperatures, it is currently 80 degrees, winds out of the east-southeast at 7 miles per hour. Our humidity is currently at 41%. It's not really affecting how it feels like outside, so that is awesome. Looking at our current temperatures across the region, we're in the lower 80s. South Haven is in 82, Tupelo 82, Oxford 80, Holly Springs 80 as well. Looking at tomorrow's high temperatures, we warm up just a little bit. South Haven is nearly at 90 degrees at 87. Here in Oxford, we're a little bit cooler at 84, Tupelo 86, Holly Springs at 85, so it'll just be a little bit warmer than today. Looking at tonight's forecast, we are going to cool down to 59 degrees, clear skies, a little bit of wind, but nothing much, and then no chance of rain, so it'll be a perfect night in case anybody wants to have a late night study session in the Grove. Looking at our extended 5-day forecast, Wednesday, we're going to be a little bit higher. We're going to start warming up into the upper 80s, almost hitting 90 starting the weekend. But Saturday, we'll start seeing some clouds, but on Sunday, a little bit cooler, but our rain chances do start to go up, and those chances will continue to go up in the early part of next week.
Well, Abby, it looks like we might start to see a little bit of cooler weather in the future.
Hopefully. I think fall is starting to make its appearance.
That's great. Coming up, we'll take a look at our first big game against Alabama this weekend.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
Visit ready.gov/earthquake today.
While you're out partying with your friends this weekend, remember, get a designated driver. Be smart, drive sober, or get pulled over. A message from the Mississippi Office of Highway Safety.
I feel like last year, really, we didn't get what we should have. We didn't do what we should have. We didn't have what we needed. I feel like we started working for this moment November 1st. This year we're going to get ours. We have paybacks coming almost every weekend. Somebody that we played last year that we owe, right? And we're going to get ours by how we play all year long. No one's giving it to us, but we're going to get it. We're coming out. We're not leaving it up to anybody else. We're going to go out and do it ourselves by how we play, how we work, how we tackle. We are going to be tougher than the rest, and we're going to get ours. Let's go.
Welcome to Rebel Watch. I'm Lauren Layton. Now, you might remember last year's Alabama game. It was kind of a big deal. The Rebels came up late in the fourth quarter behind some of that old Bo Wallace magic and then sealed the upset with a clinching interception. After the clock hit zero, Vaught Hemingway Stadium lost its mind. Now, that was a year ago. It's time for a rematch. This Saturday, the Rebels travel to Bryant-Denny Stadium for their first SEC matchup. Now, let's take a look. The Rebels are leading in the nation in scoring offense with 74.5 points, while the Tide has been consistent with Jake Coker under center scoring an average of 36 points. They're about even on defense, but the biggest difference is that Bama beat Wisconsin in their opener, while Ole Miss is largely untested. College game day will be in Tuscaloosa Saturday, and kickoff is set for 8:15 p.m. But while we wait for that highly anticipated showdown, head coach Hugh Freeze voiced his thoughts on the Tide.
It's an exciting week. You know, we get to open up SEC play in a great environment at one of the best programs in the nation, and it'll be a great test for us. One that our kids will be very excited for, to go and have an opportunity to compete, hopefully at a high level, and play our best football. So that's why you want to coach in this league and why you want to play in this league. So.
Across the field from Freeze will be four-time national champion Nick Saban. Saban isn't sleeping on the Rebels this year and is well aware of the talent on the Ole Miss team.
Ole Miss, certainly has an outstanding team. They've got a lot of experience returning, like 18 starters or whatever. Obviously, when you score over 75 points a game, you know, you got a pretty dynamic offense in a lot of ways. They've got a lot of good players. They got a great scheme. They do a really good job of executing, and they play fast. And, you know, they're leading the nation in a lot of categories when it comes to, you know, offense.
But one Rebel will be on the sideline for the first half. Second-string DBT Shepard was called for targeting in the second half of the Rebels' 73-21 win over Fresno State, and the call was upheld. By NCAA rules, Shepard was ejected immediately and suspended for the first half of the next game. Shepard has 2 tackles and 2 pass breakups through his 1.5 games so far. And after this week's game, Ole Miss will play another night game. Kickoff time for Ole Miss versus Vanderbilt will be at 6 p.m., so there'll be plenty of time to enjoy the Grove next Saturday. Last season, the Rebels opened their season playing Vandy and won in a blowout 41-3. Moving over to the NFL, there were 12 Rebels in action this weekend and a couple of solid performances. Mike Wallace played in the final game of the weekend on Monday Night Football, hauling in 6 interceptions for 63 yards, and a wide receiver, Dante Moncrief, got his first touchdown of the year with 6 catches for 46 yards. But probably the best game went to cornerback Trumaine McBride of the Giants, who recorded 4 tackles, a forced fumble, and a pick 6. It was a good weekend for the former Rebels, and it will be fun to watch them throughout the season. But that's all the time we have for Rebel Watch. Make sure to tune in Friday to our all sports show. And if you can't get enough, follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch. We'll be right back.
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
While you're out partying with your friends this weekend, remember, get a designated driver. Be smart, drive sober, or get pulled over. A message from the Mississippi Office of Highway Safety.
A hotel in Nebraska had to deal with an unruly and uninvited guest as a deer crashed through the window. Surveillance camera caught the animal entering abruptly and then running down the hallways of the hotel. Some damage occurred to the hotel, but the deer remained uninjured and was returned to the wild. It was reported that the deer trashed a room and then threw a TV out the window. That concludes our broadcast for tonight. Remember to follow us on Twitter at NewsWatch_99 for live results of tonight's elections. For NewsWatch, I'm Jennifer Lott.